You ever wondered how to get a show car paint job at home with a turbo spray can? Well, on this episode, we're going to show you how. Super easy and affordable. Anybody can do it. I'm going to show you guys all the nitpicky tips and tricks. Let's get at it. All right, guys, let's look at some of the tools of the trade you're going to need. Today, I've had a lot of my friends, you guys, want to see the white turbo can. Now, this is the gloss. They don't make a flat. You know, I like to spray the flat down, kind of like a base coat. It's easier. It's all they got, but I'm going to show you how to do it with this. I'm going to link all this stuff in the description box below. I'll make a very small percentage off of qualified purchases at no additional cost to you guys, but we put it in a little spot where you can find everything. But this is what you're going to need. Some this is the key to the longevity and the super duper glassy shine, is this Spray Max 2K Clear. This is different than your 2X or anything like that, or the Rust-Oleum turbo can. The turbo can stuff is all enamel and it's not going to hold up to the UV. This here is actually a 2K, meaning it's got a catalyst that shoots in the bottom. You take this little red cap off. I'll show you after a while. Put that on the bottom, knock it up in there, and it squirts the catalyst in there, so it makes it a hardened or catalyzed clear, and it'll hold up. We got a bed out here I'm going to show you that, actually we're going to be painting one side of it, but the other side of it has, I think it's 4 or 5 months it's been out in the weather. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like. Still looking good, been sitting out in the sun, rain, snow, sleet, everything else for about 4 months. You're going to need, you don't have to have a DA sander. If you don't have one, don't worry. You can use a flat block and some sandpaper. We're going to just DA over this bedside because it has no chips or rust in it. We're going to use a 320. If you are using a DA, make sure you got one of these interface pads. It velcros onto your regular backing plate. It just gives it a little squishy so you get a hard edge. And I like to use the hookets. These are a little more expensive, but they're Velcro. If you drop them on the floor, they'll still stick to it. You know, the sticky ones won't. A little bit of tape. All thing I have is 36-inch paper. You don't need this. I'll link stuff. I usually use 18-inch paper unless I'm covering a huge area. This is all I got right now. I forgot to get any more. And the good old Sprayway glass cleaner and some, we'll go over here and grab some Scott shop towels. I like these Scott shop rags, or the ones in the rolls. So we'll go right here and check out the old bed. I'm super excited. It's been a while since I got to do any turbo stuff. I've been doing some Cerakote stuff, and sorry if the wind's a little weird because I can't help it. This is the first 60-degree day we've had in months. It's been 12 and 15 degrees, so we just got to deal with it. So if you remember, this is the bedside that we done with the, I think last we polished it with the little vibrating sander, little palm sander thing. I showed where you could polish it. Let's see how she is looking. We got to clean it anyway, so. This, like I said, it's been sitting outside. See all the dirt and goo and dust on it. It's, before long, the sun's gonna be on it, so we'll be able to see it better. So we're just gonna come here and good habit to get in, guys. Always just wipe in a straight line. Now all we're doing is cleaning off any dirt, debris, or anything like that, because we're fixing to sand it. And if you don't clean it off and it's got grease, which this shouldn't have grease, but if it has grease on it, you're just going to grind it down into the paint job. So look at all that dirt, that overspray where I've been painting Shake Masters. I paint everything outside, guys. I just ain't got a paint booth. All this stuff, if you've never seen it before, all this was painted outside. All right. Yeah, you want to get everything good and cleaned off so it just don't grind her down into paint. She still got a good reflection though. Check that out. Now, this is a spray can, guys. Every ounce of this. We'll get another rag. That thing's nasty. But what we're going to do this week is, there we go. Fine, sort it out. We're going to base and clear this with the white turbo can. And make sure you come back next week and we're gonna cut and buffer and make her look like $1,000,000. We're gonna make sure we put enough clear on it today, that way we can cut and buff it next week and she looks good. So let's go check on the old 4-monther over here. If you guys don't believe it sits outside, look at the old dirty, drippy spots all over it, but look at it still. This is spray can at its finest. People are like, oh, that stuff won't last a month. This is 4 or 5 months. Like I said, sits outside in the sun, in the elements, in everything. And we just gonna leave this side. I ain't changing it. I at least want to go a year with it before I sand it, maybe do some more stuff to it. So we're gonna be easy and just wipe straight lines so we don't scratch it, because she is pretty. Make sure we got enough spray way. The spray way works pretty good. You can use wax and grease remover if you want. You can use isopropyl alcohol, works good. I had a subscriber say the other day that that's what they use in the body shop, which ain't nothing wrong with that. It's a lot cheaper for sure. That's what he was saying. I think she looks pretty good. What y'all think? We're sitting outside. Let that dry a little bit. We're sitting outside for 4 or 5 months. What we're gonna do is we're gonna 320 this bedside right here, and you could probably 180 this with that turbo can as thick as it puts it on, but I'm probably just gonna 320 it just out of habit. That way, because you're not really gonna see any sand scratches, but that's what we're gonna use. It'll give a good finish, and like I said, use the interface pad. If you don't have one, do it by hand. I'm just tired and lazy, and I just don't want to do it by hand right now, so we're gonna use a DA. Plus, it makes the video too long, so let's get at it. Yeah, I was excited when I looked and saw this week it was gonna be 60 to 65 degrees, and I hadn't done a turbo video in probably a month or two, so I enjoy doing the turbo videos. They're pretty cool, and something you guys can do at home. We're gonna get at it with 320 grit. I like the 3M stuff. It's a little more expensive, but it lasts longer. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just DA all this. We just want a good tooth on it, and the reason you want that, it's just like the foundation of a house. If you don't do a good foundation underneath the paint job, it ain't gonna last. If you don't do a good foundation under the house, it ain't gonna last. So here we go. Another trick is with the DA is try to keep it flat. Now we're gonna have to roll up a little bit to get up in here, or you can do it by hand if you're not experienced. I've been running one of these for 20 years, so I take that for granted sometimes. But if you guys have any questions, make sure you drop the comments. I'm more than happy to assist you if I can. All right, guys, you kind of want to roll your DA up. You see how the panel rolls like this? But what we're gonna have to do on this, because if you just went across it, that's all your hits here and here. So you want to, when you get up to this point here, you're gonna want to roll it up on that edge right there, and then you may want to come down from the top and roll that way. And you can come in here at an angle like this if you had this squishy interface pad, because it allows it to contour to the panels. Alright guys, I don't know how good y'all can see this. You see this little weird squiggly line here? That was a run in the paint, and this right here is a little divot in the paint. You're basically going to leave your DA sander flat, but you want this gone, like this. Watch, it'll disappear. Now don't get right here, this is a little deep. I'm not sure we'll get it out, but don't just concentrate right here on this little small area. Kind of bridge it out like this, because you don't want to dents in it. These are fairly deep, not sure if they're gonna come out. There's a few more in here, but we'll try. Yeah, I don't think those are gonna come out. If this was a car that we was finishing, you would want to come in here and sand this and put just a little glaze in it or something and sand it out, but this is just a demo panel. I'm trying to keep the video short. because we'll paint this side again 100 times probably. But you'll be surprised how much that turbo, that stuff's pretty thick. It'll fill in a lot. But we're gonna keep DA in it and get her wiped down, get ready to start shooting it. Another little quick trick is I hold my hose probably about a foot back, and I kind of use it to pull like this, and it keeps the hose from beating against it. But it kind of, I don't know if it makes it any easier. Over time, your wrist and stuff gets tired, but I keep a little red Scotch-Brite folded in half and just use it as a sanding block. Just kind of fold it over where you can hold it, and then we'll go around these corners and you won't get no little finger marks, because the flatter you can sand something, the better. All right, we're going to get up in here. When I build this truck, this marker light will probably disappear. I don't like no more things on the side of a truck than I have to have, so I tend to like to shave them. And if you want, you can. I didn't think about showing you this. You can come around here with the paper at the end and just give her a quick wipe over. It'll get down in all the little nooks and crannies. Around on inside the fender well lip. I'm gonna come back. I may take this off because it's got some, what happens is on some of this stuff, like some of this is the old paint that's on here, it rolls up and gets stuck in the sandpaper and kind of, see how it sticks on here? That comes off. Just take your sandpaper off your Scotch-Brite and it'll knock these little boogers off here. Because it don't tend to clog in it too bad. And I think this burgundy Scotch-Brite's like 400. I'm thinking, if I remember correctly. Actually, for you guys that don't have any of the DA paper, it's red Scotch-Brite will probably be fine. If you just have any imperfections, it's not gonna take them out as good, but it gets down in these nooks and crannies real good. That's the reason that a lot of these spray paint jobs fail, is people don't prep them right. Also, real quick, I keep forgetting to show you this, guys. When I'm painting, I get in a hurry, but if you're using a spray gun, which hopefully if you guys watch this, we're going to graduate you up into using spray guns over to spray paint. You can still use the cheap enamel Rust-Oleum paint, but we're going to do it in guns, paint guns. And the life of your DA and not spraying contaminants all over everything is right here. My buddy Dan out of Florida makes these. These are super nice. Yeah, he makes these down in Florida, and they're a water contaminant separator for your system. A lot of people don't think about that, but I'll give you a quick overview of his stuff. He makes antices, all kind of stuff, but when you're using air tools, the life of your air tool is dry air. So right here is his contact info. So if you want to check him out, make sure to tell him that Adrian at AC Design sent you his way. Super cool guy. He supports the channel and sent that stuff out for me to try probably a year or two ago. And I've been using it. It works great. It catches all the moisture in there, and don't let it go in your paint jobs because that can wreck them. All right, we got our little blow nozzle here. We're going to blow it off the best we can, get the dust off. Another trick when you're doing out here, I probably need to lay something down on the ground, but what I like to do is blow all the leaves away that might blow up into the paint. From this point on, guys, you need to have gloves on. You probably need to have them on before. I just hate wearing rubber gloves. It keeps the grease off and it'll save you headache in the long run. I just got to get back in that habit. Real fast, we're going to wipe it down probably twice with the sprayway glass cleaner. Come back and start taping around the border of it, and probably one last wipe right before we spray it. I do about half. I do them in sections. Just do about half a section at a time. I'll make sure she's clean. Ain't got no dust, grease, anything like that in here. Yeah, I really wish that Rust-Oleum would give us some more selections in the turbo, because it is pretty cool. It's a big old Mondo can. And one thing to be careful of with the turbo cans is they dump the stuff to it. I'm gonna try something different this time. That's why I like experiment. Always experiment on a panel you really don't care about. Like this is just a test panel. Get your old hood and fender. It don't matter if it's dented, but just try different ways. When they hit the ground, they're out. Don't touch them. Truthfully, this clear is really not supposed to work with this stuff. But if you do the right dry times, I've had success with it probably 4 or 5 times. Now the 6th time may be the time it comes back to bite me, but I'm hoping it warms this panel up while I'm at lunch. That way it'll stick better. Yep, that and grounded. I know I brought 3. Oh, it's in my pocket. My knife's hung up on my shirt. There it is. Now, if you're doing a metallic, just gonna throw some stuff out while I'm wiping this off. If you're doing a metallic, it needs to probably be no rougher than 600, because your metallics will lay down in them scratches and magnify them. And you don't want that. We'll do another wipe real fast on it. We'll start doing a little taping. I'll show you how to do some of the taping. All right, guys, what I'm going to do on this part here, because I don't want to paint down inside the bed, I just want the top down. So we're going to come up halfway. You're going to basically take your tape and you're going to stick it halfway on it and fold it over like that. And then we'll lay our paper here and you'll have a nice soft edge. So that's what we're going to do real quick. And I'll show you some of the other places. I'll show you some of the other little tape tricks. We'll start all the way down here. Like it. Halfway. Fold her over, just kind of rub it down like that. Like I said, it gives you a nice soft edge. Don't give you a hard tape line. I can't stand hard tape lines. That'll give us a shelf to put our paper on. Now the side's going to be pretty much the same. I will say when they contour in like this, you need to do them in separate pieces because it won't fold right. Just stick it in there a quarter. It ain't got to be a halfway. Then pull it over, and if you have any trouble with them not wanting to stay, just do that. Just want to make sure it's back far enough. That's another reason I don't like gloves when I'm taping. But anyway, trying to do it right. This tailgate ain't even worth taping up. It's so bad and beat up and rusted and stuff, but I just want to show you how you need to do it. Thing back, make sure she rolls back far enough. You don't never want your tape over on the panel that you're painting. You just want it far enough back. Now let's come back here on this one like that. That's another reason to clean all your panels. Man, that wind's getting up. I hope it ain't gonna start blowing real bad. And it's hard to tape with gloves on. Alright, that gives us our shelf. We'll go up here and find any spots. See that? We'll fold this over up here. Alright, we're going to do this in a little different since it's got a hard line here where the bedside bolt's on. We're just going to pull it up to the edge like that and just basically follow that hard line, and we'll tape from there over because it really don't matter because it's got a hard line where the bed bolt's on anyhow. Go over here and attach it to the top. Make sure you got everything covered because if it ain't covered, it's going to be white. We're going to name this the bed of many colors. And another reason for taping this stuff up good is because it's dirty back in there. We're going to back tape it like this. And paper's next, and that'll be done. Show you how we've done everything. Like I said, the paper will go from here this way. It's got that little shelf on it. Come around here. Give me a razor blade. We're just gonna lay it. I don't advise putting these in your mouth either. Don't do that, that's stupid. Bad habit. We're just gonna lay it on this shelf, not all the way over to the edge. We're gonna leave about a 1/4 inch or so. We're just going to tack it down through here. You can put your hand underneath and just stick it real good as you go. Sometimes I'll come back with like a 3/4 on the top if I'm using a gun. Like these spray cans don't have as much pressure like a regular paint gun. And I know I ain't got gloves on, but there's no way I can do this with gloves on. I will come back and degrease it anyway. But it's just a good habit to be in. Make sure you wear your gloves. Don't do like me on this part anyway. Alright. Come up just a hair short. We'll pull this tight. Especially if you're using a paint gun, you really want to keep everything good tight and pulled back because it'll blow over in the paint if it's not. So it's just a good habit to get in. So I'm going to Try to get this pulled down. I'm gonna go ahead and tape this like I was saying. Just show you how you do it. You just basically make you a tape sandwich here. Sandwich it in between. That's a good clean tape line. We're gonna cut it just about another 3 foot. The only reason I say don't worry about getting 36 paper because it's more expensive. Overlap it about 1 inch or so up here at the top. Get all these rolls out that holds that'll hold overspray, and it can blow, especially outside painting. If you guys can learn to paint outside, you can learn to paint anywhere. Anybody can paint in a perfect temperature downdraft booth. Guys like me and you that's painting in garages and outside, they're the ones that knows how to adapt and overcome. Because the good thing about downdraft heated air conditioned booths is you can control the environment. Out here, you can't control nothing. I always say if you learn this, you'll be a better painter than if you learn in a fancy booth. This end here, we want to wrap this thing around good and tight. That way none of that overspray blows, especially with the wind blowing. Like I said, if we get some on it, chuck it in all this. You got to follow all this stuff right here if you're going to keep overspray off. You don't want nothing going in the backside. And like I said before, all this stuff will be linked below. It's the same old 3M tape that I use. But now we're gonna wrap this up here like a Christmas present. We want this thing pulled good and tight. It seems like a lot of work, but I'm trying to preserve this. All right, guys, here's the brand new Shake Master 4000. This is the original. I've been shaking forever. I'm gonna steal me one because y'all ain't bought it yet. The first time I've been able to scoop one up that y'all ain't got yet. So I'm gonna go hang this on my wall up there at the house and retire the old OG one here so I can use one of these new fancy things all y'all got to use. All right, guys, for those of y'all that ain't never seen it, you just get your regular old, I need to get me a battery power. This thing's heavy. Reciprocate saw. Chunker in there. Chunk this in there. I didn't get my clamp tight enough where I changed it out. I try to keep it, once you get these on here and you get them mounted down, you can just barely back them off so it don't take but a couple turns and you're working here. All right, you don't hog it down. You get your glove caught in there. Make sure you head on over to www.acdesignsgarage.com if you want to scoop you one up. It's the only place you can get them. Nice and smooth. One other thing, guys, like I said before, I'll link all this below. Respirator, cover your arms, cover your hands, all this stuff. Because you only get a pair of one set of lungs, and once they're gone, they ain't no good to you anymore. You want to be able to breathe, so you want to be able to paint for a long time. Now these cans here, they look like I got a mohawk on them. These things will load up, so keep one of them little shop rags in your pocket. I got one here, I'm gonna keep it every now and then. You got to wipe this off. We're gonna get at it. Alright guys, we got us a light coat on there and we're basically gonna let it tack. I think the bugs already getting in it. And look, that stuff right there is already, you don't want to touch here unless you know it's dry, but stuff right there is already tacked good. So we're gonna do like probably 3 or 4 coats like that. But I tell you, I got to keep this camera back, man. This stuff, this wind blows it and it goes everywhere. Everything's gonna have white spots on it, so just remember that. So here we go. I'm put one more coat on it, see how she does. Looking pretty good. All right, we're gonna let that in there tack, probably one more. And we'll let that tack, then we'll go to the clear. All right, probably in the film it's gonna look a little blotchy, but it's actually the tree shadows. If you look on the ground, they're coming over here. There's a little few light spots, but you're gonna see them, they're vertical stripes. They're just, I don't know if it shows up on camera, but it's actually the reflection of the tree, so that makes it a little more challenging. All right, what you're gonna do is you're gonna come over here. It's been a couple minutes, probably maybe 5 since I've shot it. You see how that's sticky, kind of like the backside piece of tape, but it's coming off on my finger. You don't want that. You want it feeling sticky like that, but no material coming off on your hand. So we're gonna wait just a little bit longer. All right, while that other is drying, like I said, we're gonna probably need one more coat on it. We're gonna go ahead and mix up the clear. And this is super easy. Right here's the part number. We're gonna link it. You grab this little cap off the top. It's hard to do with gloves on. There we go. Yeah. That's cap on top. See that little thing sticking off the bottom right there? You're just gonna set it on there. And what this does, I don't know if you can hear it. I'll try to get you close where you can hear it. What this does is it injects hardener in here. And you just hold it for about 10-15 seconds. And that's it. Now what we're gonna do is what we like to do. This can is actually a little bit bigger than the Turbsky cans. So we're gonna clamp her down. Make sure she's good and incorporated and all shook up. Give her a little hi-ya. That ought to be good. There we go. We may have to get into the second can. I don't know yet. But see, I'll leave these caps off. That way I know which one. I'm going to take his top off too. That way I know which one's got the hardener in it. And let's go back out here and put one more coat on this unit. All right, let's walk over here and check it real quick. Make sure ain't nothing on my finger. Nothing's coming off. That's ready to go. That's how I check mine. Because it varies so much with temperature and stuff, I can't say, hey, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever. So that's ready for last coat. Should be last coat. And what I'm doing is a 50 to 75% overlap. So when I spray this one, I'm gonna come up to about right here with the next coat, and then the next coat kind of like that, or even 50-50 overlap. Just that's how I'm doing it. I forgot to tell y'all that. Right, she's looking pretty good. Got a couple little bugs in her, but it'll be okay. Got a spot right here I gotta get. Tell you what, white is a hard one to do. Very hard because it's so bright. And I got these dead gone tree shadows. I'm gonna get a little closer and check her out. Make sure I got everything. Well, that's it, guys. One white turbo can down. But we're gonna let that tack and we're gonna come back with the clear coat. Yeah, I'm gonna let this tack for probably 10 minutes. About 10 minutes when it flashes. You want it to flash really good between coats, because if you put a lot underneath it, then you put a light coat on top and it tacks on top and underneath don't tack, then you got more problems. So we don't want any problems. A little worried about that discoloration on there, that it was gonna wrinkle, but so far it looks pretty good. Alrighty, let's check her. This is gonna be for the clear. We're done. We put a whole can per side, so that's about what you can figure. 3 coats. Man, that looks good, don't it? Let's see, that ain't got no, ain't nothing coming off on my hand, so that's how you know it's been about right at 15 minutes. But this is the way I really check. Come over here. All right, guys, we're ready to do a little bit of clear on here. So what we're gonna do is, like I said before, with the paint, we're gonna do probably 75% overlap. If your spray's this wide, you're gonna, when you spray back, you're gonna spray about right here. You're only gonna leave just a quarter of it, or you can do half and half, whatever's easier. But 75% gives you more. As you go down and stack, you just 75, 75, and that gives you more instead of having stripy stripes. So here we go. All right, guys, as you saw, this is how I usually do it. I forgot to mention it before. I usually do a 2 coat. I consider that 1 coat because these tips are pretty small on these things. So I'll wash over it first time, get it good and wet, and by the time you get back, come back up and do the 2nd coat. And usually that's a can. So this is can number 2. This is, I've done enough of these to know that 2 cans. So if you was doing this whole bed, it'd be 2, 4, probably 5 cans to do the tailgate too. In this bedside, paint job materials, so you could probably figure panels this way, is about 55 bucks. You got 2 of these at about 20, and then you got $15 for the turbo can. I'm not counting a little extra touch-up. You do need to buy an extra can, don't just get one. Always have a little extra. But about 55 bucks in material to paint a base coat, clear coat paint job that's gonna hold up on your ride. Can 2. 2nd coat, we're gonna do a double pass coat on it. I just checked it. She is dead dry. I mean, not even sticky in. So we're gonna go back and do a quick one. I will say the white is harder than the black because you can't see. You got to get at certain angles and just make sure it's wetting out good. You don't want it dry. You want it to look wet as you go over it. And I like to spray with my thumb because you don't wear it out as bad as this. You'll get tired and start rolling a little bit. If you don't depress these all the way, they will spit a little bit. Got my rag to wipe the tip off. We're ready to go. And I forgot to say, well, I'm forgetting everything this week. Sorry, guys. I'm about 4 inches off of this. You just got to keep moving about 4 inches. And don't stop in the middle of the panel because you can get a run. Try to get you in there where you can see what I'm talking about, wetting it out. See how this is a little dry looking? See how it looks wet now? That's what I mean by wetting it out. All right, that looks a whole lot better. I'm gonna let that tack for just a second. I'm gonna come back over and wash over it one more time, and that'll be 4 coats. Really only 2 coats in meal thickness probably, but yep, what we're gonna do. I'm gonna check it. If you have to stop in the middle of the panel, roll it out like that, so it just don't stop. All right, guys, well, check her out in all her glory. She is bright white. I mean, it looks pretty dead gone good. You probably can't see reflection because it's so stinking bright. But yeah, clear laid down pretty dead gone good. Wait till next week when we cut and buff this unit. She's gonna look like a show car. Trust me on it. I've done it enough. This thing's gonna look killer, and you guys can do it too. It's not that hard. It's just a little bit of spraying, and you learn from your boo-boos. A whole lot better off to do it that way. So yeah, go untape her real quick and see what she looks like, and we're gonna wrap this video up. Yeah, what do you guys think? The white, I've had a lot of guys ask about it, but I wasn't sure. I was like, I don't know if I want to do the white or not, but kind of digging it, guys. There we go. See, we left a nice little light line. Kind of digging it. I wish they had like a antique like that. I will say the turbo can makes quick work of anything. I wish Spray Max had a daggone turbo in this where I could drill this clear on here. That's what we need a turbo in. Yeah, I never guessed. But I would actually like the white. I'm always a big fan of the reds and blacks and yellow and orange and all that stuff. Take this in there so I'll stick it to it. That white's pretty impressive, I will have to say. Yeah, Get off there. Yeah, guys, that white's gonna look like that. Look at that reflection. That white gonna look just like that. Next week, make sure you tune in. Also, there'll be a playlist linked at the end of this video if you want to check out more. We got a ton of painting how-to, buffing, all that good stuff. So if you got any questions, stay tuned to the end. It'll pop up. You can click on it. Keep going down this YouTube rabbit hole that I tend to get in myself. All right, guys, hope that little video might have helped you out and give you the confidence to get out there and do it. You guys can do it, guys. It's just paint. You mess up, you fix it. It's sandpaper, fixes everything. So don't get all stressed out about it. Get in there and do it. I'm gonna do some videos on how to fix runs and stuff. Also, if you want to scoop up one of these, I think they're a necessity. Rad Shakemaster 4000s. Hats, t-shirts are coming in. If you want to scoop them up, these are really nice Richardson 112 hats. If you want to scoop one of them up, I appreciate everything you guys do. Appreciate y'all buying all this. You can only get it at the only place to support me at www.acdesignsgarage.com. And remember, be kind to one another. Jesus loves you, so do we. God bless. We gone.